How are things going for everyone? I'm going to talk to Tyler Hill today. He just made a video about how much Solana you need, and we've had him on the station before. The movie where he talked about how high he thought Solana could go was loved by everyone. He's going to be back on the show. Please click subscribe if you don't mind. If you want to see more movies like this, click the bell icon below the video. During the bull market, I'll have more people on. I'll also put a link to Tyler's YouTube channel below the movie, so please go check it out and subscribe. Love him. There is also a link to Margex at the bottom of the page if you want to use leverage to trade Bitcoin. You can give it a try. You don't have to put in a lot of personal information because you don't need it to KYC. It's very quick and easy to set up. You are welcome here even if you are not welcome on other sites. You should definitely look at that after the movie. There's also a link to HGALGO down there. There you can get bullish and bearish momentum signs that are very useful for this type of market. The DCA tool tells you when it might be a good time to dollar cost average into the market. This can help you trade. Thus far, this has been great. This has been really helpful, so make sure you check it out below the movie as well. How are things going for everyone? It's Sam. Tyler Hill is on the channel with us today. Tyler, thanks for being here. No thanks for having me on. Oh man, the channel again. As you may remember, I was here not long ago. I'm glad to be back and give you some information. Sure, of course, and I had. That you're coming on because the last time you did, you predicted or set prices for Solana which people loved. Like it's still getting views today. It looks like people are going to your channel for that, which is why I wanted to make an update video. I saw that you recently made a video about how people need to get to 15 Solana. Could you tell me why 15 Solana is so important? Okay, so this is going to take a second. I'm going to give you my little bits here, but it all comes from the idea of what a goal means to each person in the end, right? While I don't want to say that 15 is the magic number for everyone, I do think it is for the vast majority of people. To come to that conclusion, I did some polls on Twitter, YouTube, Patreon, Discord, and other places, asking people, hey, if you had a cryptocurrency that you liked and you were holding it right now, based on your current financial situation, what number would you feel some kind of satisfaction at? Where would you generally be happy for the most part? The number that came up was around $10,000, but that was just an idea. It was more of a thought experiment than anything else. According to them, they would be happy if they had a 5-figure holding of their favorite cryptocurrency. For some, that number might be unrealistically high, while for others, it might be nothing. But for the majority, that was the number that got them the most excited and made them feel satisfied. Now, I think we both know that once you reach those kinds of goals, the next one is usually even bigger. Is that going to be the one that makes everyone happy forever? No, but it's at least an idea for an experiment. We got to 15 because we were just asking ourselves, if I want to see a Solana position that's worth, say, $10,000, how much Solana would it take based on my price prediction of where I think Solana can go conservatively over the next run? That number ended up being about 15, since my own price prediction is that Solana will go between $600 and $675. So now we know what we want to see the amount, but how do we get to $675? That's kind of what the movie was about. So I'm going to quickly share my screens and go over my whole theory about how I got to that number. Now, it really began with a basic point of view. Let me check again, you can't see my screen, right? Yes, from a basic point of view, I don't really believe that you can base your thesis on where crypto's prices will go only on technical analysis. This is especially true in a world like crypto, where prices can change quickly. In the big picture, you can't just rely on PA because too many outside factors can affect the outcome. If you think back to an event like FTX in November, it seemed like the market was in a different state of energy than it actually was. For example, when FTX happened, the market crashed, and everyone thought it might have reached a bottom. But then FTX happened, and the fall continued. If I had only based my theories or thesis on technical analysis, I wouldn't have seen any of that coming. That's why I've always said that when I make a thesis based on what I think will happen, I include both fundamental and technical perspectives. So the first one being a fundamental perspective, and I think the easiest thing you can do is just look at something like the total value locked. It's just kind of a representation of what is actually happening on chain. Okay, obviously we've seen developmental chain, obviously we have seen the overall, growth of the ecosystem, meme coins doing well, etc., but this is a good representation of the trust in the ecosystem, which in general is what allows prices to climb over the long term because selling pressure is rather diminished when people trust an ecosystem. And looking at something like Solana's TVL currently, we actually saw a milestone that we hit in which Solana hit $2 billion TVL, meaning that there was $2 billion worth of crypto that is now staked or locked amongst the Solana ecosystem. And considering the fact that the previous all-time high for TVL is right around $10 billion back in 2021, it tells me that even through all the craziness in which, realistically considering, Solana is almost half or about 40% recovered from its all-time high already, it's only about 20% recovered in TVL. What that tells me is that by the time we see this ecosystem really thriving like it once was, I genuinely believe Solana's price is going to be significantly higher than it was at the time in which it was at peak thriving point, if that makes sense. Let's say you're someone who starts with 1, 2 or 3 Solana if they have a few $1,000s to spare. Should they buy everything at once, use dollar cost averaging, or trade their way up to try to get more Solana? What's the best thing to do? Okay, I guess I'll do that because I think it's best. Start with what not to do. This is just my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor or anything, but I don't think this is the right market to try to trade your way up to $15 Solana. I don't think it's buy Solana low, sell it high, buy it low, sell it high, buy it low, sell it high, and accumulate over time. The reason I say this is because it's very likely that you will sell too soon in a bull market. For example, if you sold Solana when it hit $80 because it was fully extended on a 4x off of $20, you might have done well, but I don't think that's the best strategy. That leaves 2 options. DCA is the first choice, just lump sum is the second. Just buy 15 right now and wait. Personally speaking, I think it's all situational, but I do believe that the general best practice here would be just dollar cost average your way up. Now, add something that I've preached over and over and over and over again over on my channel. And I mean, on top of that, you already know. It's something that you end. I have both talked about at this point. I think you have to realize that with all of the institutional investment, with all of these big whales coming in, I'm a tinfoil hat guy myself, right? And with all of these people coming in, I think that the strings that they're going to be pulling are going to be much more extreme. I think as we see something like Bitcoin supply kind of get shocked, I think as we start to see substantially overwhelming the supply, that a lot of these wells and a lot of these quote-unquote market movers and manipulators, whatever you call it, I think they're going to get into a position in which they want to hoard as much crypto as they possibly can. They want to take it from as many people as possible because they see what's happening, right? And so because of that, I think volatility is going to strike in the sense that there's going to be huge movements up and huge movements down rather fast. I think volatility is going to be higher than we've ever seen it before. I think liquidations are going to be higher than we've ever seen it before because the likelihood is that leverage is going to enter in the market again, and that's a perfect formula for them to, of course, move these prices to liquidate people. And so, in my opinion, because of the volatility that I'm expecting to come, I think, again, one trading is not a good idea, especially if you can get liquidated. And I mean, in a grand scheme of things, you want a 3x, 4x, 5x leverage trade. Do as you please, right? I believe that's great if you have a plan, but I believe those 100x trades and other similar things are a silly risk to take in a bigger picture setting where crypto is likely to go up. With that in mind, I've already said that because of the emotional volatility that comes with it. You lose money when you make bad decisions based on your feelings. So I think dollar cost averaging is the best way to avoid that. Also, I think slowly getting into the market is the best strategy since I think this market will continue to go up. So, yeah.